All right, everybody. So welcome to this week's Pillar Strength class. My name is Connor Adams once again. Today we are going to focus mostly on our movement capabilities. Today's workout is going to be with a lot of functional crossover into like traditional running workouts. So a lot of the movements you're going to do are going to be very similar to what you would do in a natural running stance or, movement pattern. Before we get started, what you will need is just, resistance bands if you have one. If not, that really is okay. You don't need the resistance bands for the exercises we're going to do, but it'll just add a little bit of extra challenge. And then just, a yoga mat for something softer to like lay on or sit on or kneel on. And then maybe something to just mark off distances. As you'll see behind me, I have these two purple square blocks. They're going to help track the distance to go on our first exercise today. If you remember from our past pillar strength workouts, typically I've been structuring them to be kind of interval based and where we cycle through a list of workouts, take a break, cycle through the list again for a set amount of time. But today we're going to take a more, I think, traditional like workout approach where we're going to focus on one exercise, do a couple sets, and then move on to the next exercise. And then of course we're going to still round it out with a cool down and then stretching. So before we get started with any of that, we will jump right into the warm-up. So as always, we'll loosen our necks up first, look up to the ceiling, hands on top of your forehead, work through the resistance till you're looking down at the ground. All right, hands on the back of your head, till you're looking back up at the ceiling, look up. All right, ear down near your shoulder, hand on the opposite side of the forehead or side of the head, and then work through till your ears on the opposite shoulder. I just felt my neck crack a little bit. All right, hand on the opposite side of the head, and then go back to where you started. One more time, we're going to rotate now. Hand on the side of your forehead, work through that, and then come back the other direction to start. All right, great. Do some trunk twists, arms out, move that thoracic spine, get it nice and loosened up. I keep hearing my back crack. It's crazy. All right. Just a little bit more. Try to keep those hips forward. All right, and now I'm going to ask you to please like grab a wall that's near you. It doesn't have to be a wall. It could just be something that you can just prop yourself up on because we're going to be standing on one leg just for extra balance. I feel kind of bad touching this mirror, but it's the best object I have. I don't want to turn my back to you. So with one hand on the wall, I'm going to plant my one leg on the ground, lift my other one up, stick the leg that's up in the air in front of that leg, and then just swing it side to side. Doesn't have to be super wide or super big swings, just enough to get your hips started to loosen up. If you're leaning on, the arm of a couch if you're at home or the side of your desk, that's perfectly fine. Just enough so you can keep your balance and get that hip loosened up. All right. And now once you go side to side, try to open up your position, your stance a little bit so that you can go forward and backward. Still on the same leg. I used to do these all the time when I ran track in high school, and it was definitely what made me feel the most loose in my hips. Sure. All right, now just switch sides. So I was propping myself up with my right arm, plant my left leg. Now I'm going to plant or prop with the left arm and plant my right leg, and I'll swing my left leg. Side to side first, and then we'll change the stance to go forward and backwards. All right, I am turning my back a little bit to you. Actually, come over here, please. All right. Looking forward and backwards now. My hamstrings are really tight. I did a big leg workout earlier this week. So this is feeling good going forward and backwards. All right. Finally, just to round out the warm-up, we are just going to do some arm circles. So go forward first. Doesn't have to be super fast, just enough where you're feeling the momentum of your arms carry forward when you hit the top of that swing. That's what's going to put a little bit of pressure on, or less pressure, relieve the pressure on your shoulders. And then we'll go backwards before we stop. Okay. So for the first exercise of our workout, we are going to do banded lateral squat steps. So I don't know if you can see this resistance band I have back here. I'm using the yellow one, so usually they're color coded with resistance or resistance difficulty. I'm using yellow because these are pretty tough, and I've already done a leg workout this week. So I'm gonna put the resistance band around my legs down close to my ankles. Now, the placement of your resistance band actually determines a lot of the resistance here, because if it's closer to your hips or your axis of rotation, it's actually going to be a little bit easier. The further from the axis of rotation, the more resistance that's going to apply, the harder it's going to be to actually move that band. All right. So for these lateral squat steps, make sure you have like a space mark that's about, I counted 4.5 stride lengths here, just enough distance where you can actually get moving. Okay. Just so it's not, 2 steps and then we're going to go backwards. But what we're going to do is start down in a squat position, take a small step out with our lead foot, and then recollect with our trail foot. All right, what we're not going to do is come all the way to our feet come together. We're going to recollect into that squat stance, which is feet shoulder width apart, butt down, and then back straight up. Okay, you can see me from the side here. That's the position we're going to hold through all of our steps. And you got to make sure that you don't come up in between the steps. All right, whole point is keep that squat. All right, so we're going to do 30 seconds of this, and then we'll take a rest and get back into it. All right, on your marks, get set, and go. Step, collect, step, collect, step, collect, step, collect. And once you get to the other side, go backwards the other opposite direction. Step, collect, step, collect. Keep that depth in your squat. I should actually be a little bit lower. All right, we're halfway down this 30 seconds. Keep going. Focus on form this first way through. That's why I like breaking it down like this. The first set, focus mostly on form. Second, focus on your efficiency. And then third, you just go all out with your effort. All right. Then 3, 2, and 1. We're done. Nice job. All right. You can either leave the bands around your ankles or take them off, whatever you want to do. I finished on my left side that time, so I'll start on the left side. This next set, we have about 15 seconds here before we get going. All right. It's already been about 10, so here we go. Get ready to go. Get down in that squat position. We'll go back the opposite way. So we know what the cues are here. All right. Try to really focus on getting this movement pattern down. All right, in 3, 2, 1, go. Now this is working on our core stability and our hip muscles. All right, our hip muscles are what allows us to open our legs up a little bit. So make sure you get that step and collect, but keeping the depth. The goal is to try to, each time you do this, as you're getting better with the movement, try to get more repetitions, more times going back and forth between these markers that you have set up. All right, 5 seconds left. 3, 2, and 1. Whew, I don't know about you, but outsides of my legs are really feeling it already. 15 seconds here for the rest, and we'll get right back into it. Our last set. Try to maximize what you get out of this last set. This is the effort set. All right, got about 5 seconds left, and we're going to get right into it. 3, 2, 1, and begin. All right, get the effort in here. Try to make this one where you get the most trips back and forth, but don't compromise your form here. Effort, but don't compromise the form. The more you point those legs forward, the more it's really truly going to be the outsides of your hips working. If you start to cheat and point your toe, that's going to be more of a forward step, and that gets in your hip flexors instead of the glutes. All right, we got about 5 seconds left. Make it count. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Done. All right, cool. You can finally take these bands off my ankles. Jeez. Okay. So for our next exercise, you can either use the same resistance band. If you have one that's a little bit heavier, that might be more appropriate for this exercise. If not, it's okay. You don't even need a resistance band for this. I'm going to use one, but we're going to call these bent over posture raises. All right. So we are going to hinge at the hips, drop those hips back, keep our back straight. And when I say keep your back straight, try to round your shoulders back a little bit. That's what's really going to help you do that while you hinge your hips down. All right. Now, with your hands out in front of you like this, about shoulder width apart, and that's where the resistance band kind of really comes in handy, because it adds a little bit of extra exercise to make them shoulder width apart, just like that. So you can see I'm pulling it. And then when you're down in that hinged position, all you're going to do is raise your hands straight above your head. You'll see I'm creating a straight line from my hips to my shoulders to my hands. All right. And we're just going to keep doing this for 30 seconds and try not to compromise the distance you've created with the resistance band in front of you. All right. I'm going to catch my breath a couple more seconds here, and then we'll get right into it. Take a drink of water if you need to. All right, so we're going to do 3 sets of this. Like I said, first set through, focus on the form. All right, here we go. Ready, get set, and go. Make sure this movement is slow and controlled. You don't want to use your momentum to just throw your hands over your shoulders. You want to make sure it's controlled the whole way through. This is really challenging your ability to pull those shoulders back down, away from being punched forward. Try not to flare those elbows out either. I notice I'm trying to do that. We got about 10 seconds left. Work on the form, get the muscle pattern down. 3, 2, 1, and done. Nice job. All right. We got 2 more sets of this, and then we'll move on. But if you noticed any type of form lapse that you had there, especially towards the end when you might have been getting tired, try to correct that this time through. Make sure you nail it and be as efficient as possible. Okay? We'll give it about 10 seconds before we get started again. All right, here we go. Same thing. I'm going to go from the side now so you can see the angle in my back the whole time. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. Keep those hands about shoulder width apart, elbows in line with the hands, and raise till you get that straight line above your head. You should really feel it in your mid to low back, pulling on your scapulas to come down. All right, we got 5 seconds left. 2, 1. All right, good job. Now, we've been focusing on form this last time. Try to see as many repetitions as you can get, but make sure you're under control. Don't compromise form for effort, but do maximize your effort for sure. All right, 5 seconds left. We'll get started. 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Not super fast, but make sure it's clean. And you get as many reps as possible here. Ten seconds left. And 3, 2, 1, done. Woo. Now it's my shoulders now. All right. So next up, we are going to do some supine running, meaning supine just means laying on your back. So we can get down on our yoga mat or our towel or the floor, whatever we have that's going to feel all right. You feel all right when we do this. So in the supine position, yeah, you can see it. It's important that we remember there's a natural curve in our lower back. You should be able to see it here, right in our lumbar back. When you're down like this, you don't want to round it so that that space goes away. You want to make sure it stays there, as if you could just slip your fingers under it. If it helps, you can leave your fingers there for a little bit, just as we start this move. All right, so supine running, I should call it like supine marches, because what we're going to be doing is starting in this position, and then in alternating like intervals, we'll extend opposite sides of the body, okay? So I'm gonna bring my right arm down as I bring my left leg straight. And then we're gonna alternate like that as if we're marching, okay? And remember, keep that space with your lower back. It's gonna help if you kind of contract your core and get that breath through your stomach, because every time you inhale, it's going to inflate in your stomach, and you're going to make sure to lift that lower back off the ground. All right, so opposite leg, opposite arm, just like if you were standing up, and you'd be marching like this. But we're just going to be laying down to do it. All right, so we'll do this for 30 seconds. Focus on that form, and we'll get going in 3, 2, 1, go. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Drive your knee up, drive your hand up. That's a better way to think of it instead of going down at the same time. Think about it as driving the opposite knee and opposite hand up. just like you're running, but I kind of looks more like marching. Keep that space in the low back. We have 5 more seconds. 2, 1, done. All right. This one mostly targets kind of our hip flexors, the fronts of our shoulders, but also I think largely our core. Because if you're doing it right, you're not letting that lower back round out. You're really activating that core to stay stable. All right. 5 more seconds, we'll get started, get back in that position. I'll try to turn a little bit, maybe a different angle. Could help give you another perspective on it. All right, here we go. All right, and 3, 2, 1, go. Sometimes I get them mixed up. It's all good. 15 seconds left. Get this movement pattern down. So the last set, we can really explode. 3, 2, 1, done. All right. Catch your breath, get a quick drink of water, because we're going to get started in probably about 10 seconds. All right, right back down position. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Make this one count. This one's the effort set. This one, it's okay to compromise form a little bit because there's very low risk of injury or anything. So if you're really going to push it, this would be the one. Get after it. Make it count. I'm really picking up the speed here. Here we go. Right, about 5 seconds left. Make it count. Push it. Push it. 3, 2, 1, and done. Whew. All right. Now for our next one, we're going to do some bird dogs. Okay, so if you're familiar, you're going to know that you're going to get into a quadruped position. We're going to get on our hands and knees, still using that yoga mat or soft surface, whatever you've established. So in that quadruped position, it's important that our back stays flat. We're going to want to engage that core all the way around. Make sure our hands are underneath our shoulders, and then our knees are directly underneath our hips. I'll show you exactly how I'm aligned here. Everything should be pretty balanced and lined up. All right. Make sure that back is straight though. Flat, I mean. Our backs are never straight. Natural curves in our spine, so it's better to stay flat. It's just a little better image. So for these bird dogs, option 1 or level 1 is going to be opposite arm goes up, opposite leg goes back, and you're just going to be trying to touch a spot that's slightly in front of wherever your quadruped position is. So when we start, opposite leg forward, backwards, opposite arm forward, come back to quadruped, opposite arm forward, opposite leg back, come back to quadruped, and keep going just like that in that pattern. And the whole time, the big focus here is keeping our core engaged so that we're not losing stability when we move those opposite limbs. Level 2, a little bit more challenging if you want to go after it. That's great. Instead of just reaching for the spot in front of you, kick those limbs up like this so that they're straight out in front and straight behind. All right, so we'll go like that. Opposite, opposite. Whole time, keep your back flat. And your posture should stay balanced so that you're not like tilting to one side to make up for the momentum, okay? All right, we're gonna do 30 seconds of these bird dogs. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1, go. I'm gonna do level 1 here to start. Make sure that back stays flat. Opposite arm, opposite leg, touch the spot out in front or behind of your quadruped position. All right, 10 seconds left. 3, 2, and 1. All right, now we got a little bit of experience with the movement pattern. We'll really get it down this next time. 5 more seconds, we'll get right into it. Kind of losing a little bit of time, so I'm going to cut the very last thing that we're going to do out. We'll move into a quick cool down, and then we'll do stretching after this. So here we go. I'll do level 2 this time. On your marks, get set, and go. got an email. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. 5 seconds left, 5 seconds left. Get these patterns down, and 2, 1, done. All right, we got one more set of this. Then we'll move into a quick cool down and wrap things up with some stretching. Catch your breath if you need to. All right, here we go. I'm going to do level 2 once again for these bird dogs. This is our last one. Make them count. This is the last exercise of our workout. Really push it on this one. Try to get those reps in, as many as you can. Don't lose your balance though. Here we go. Ready and begin. Keep that midline in line throughout the changes and exchanges of momentum. Back straight the whole time, or flat. I keep saying straight. All right, we have about 5 seconds left. Push it. And done. All right, nicely done. So to cool down, we're just going to lay back on our backs in the supine position. We'll kick our feet up. It's okay if you don't have that, space between your or under your lumbar here. We're just going to do some ab crunch bike kicks. So put your hands behind your head, lift those knees up a little closer to your chest, and then with every time you bring a knee up, you're going to move the opposite elbow closer to that knee. All right, we're just going to do this for 30 seconds. We're not going super fast. Just keep it under control. All right. The key thing here is the control. We want to stay active, use these limbs, and cool it down. If you're really feeling the burn and it feels too intense, take a break for a second. Make sure you're breathing. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. And then we'll do real quick superheroes. I think we got 2 minutes left, maybe 1. Hop down on the prone position, so you're going to be laying on your stomach. Hands out in front of you, legs straight behind you. On the count of 5, we are going to bring our elbows, our wrists, our knees, our feet up off the ground like we're flying through the air like superheroes, all right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. All right, lift those elbows up and knees. Most of your weight should be on your core and your hips. This is going to activate our lower back. And then just rock back and forth if you want to. That helps me stay a little bit moving. Keep that heart active as we're cooling it down. Try to really get those deep breaths in. Since you're laying on your stomach here, your stomach isn't really going to be able to expand that much. It's going to exercise that lower back and feel pretty good. All right. Now put your hands under your shoulders, push yourself up. Stand up in a nice safe way so you're stepping forward to the side. All right. And now we kind of are out of time, so I'll just let you know which muscle groups to stretch out here. Focus on stretching those glutes. The hamstrings are definitely feeling it. Your shoulders too. That tricep stretch is definitely going to feel good right now. And then, make sure you get nice stretches so you get that core loose too. All right. Thank you. It was a good session. Sorry we ran out of time a little bit, but hope you enjoyed.